This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2017 Subaru Outback 3.6R. Up front is a 3.6 liter flat 6 and down below is a CVT. Now that flat 6, that is what drew me to this Outback. Most Outbacks, and even most Subarus in general, come with 2.5 liters. Some come with 2 liters with turbos, but they're all 4 cylinders. This is a 6-cylinder Subaru, something that in my mind seems like an odd pairing, but in the short time I've been driving this car so far, I have absolutely loved it. Power numbers for the 3.6 liter are 256 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. Now that torque number is what's really getting me because I'm barely on it, and this thing has ants in its pants. Pulling it out of the dealership this morning, it wanted to go. And so it's finally up to temperature. Let's put the window down, although I doubt you'll hear anything. Let's see what a 3.6 liter flat 6 can do. I don't really have a sport mode since we don't really have gears because it's a CVT. So let's just send it. It definitely pulls hard, but I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed at the top end. That's to be expected. The low end of this 3.6 is so fun. Just at the bottom of the revs, it's so great, and it sort of doesn't really hold its own once you actually get into it. That might be the gearing of the CVT, maybe something like that, but it is what it is. I love the feeling of this just driving around town. Speaking of which, we are looking at 20 miles per gallon city and 27 miles per gallon on the highway. So not amazing, but also not horrible. Now, like I said, Paradoot is a CVT, and what that means is a continuously variable transmission. That means there's actually no set gears. It's basically witchcraft to give you the feeling of gears, but you don't actually have any. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this because I don't think they've really perfected these transmissions yet. I think they're definitely on their way, and I think CVTs now, compared to CVTs 10 years ago, is a world of difference. But I don't think that they're quite there yet. I don't quite like the feeling of them. They feel unnatural to me because there's no shift points. It's not shifting. It's just changing. It's just molting its skin. It's not changing gears. But last but not least about the drivetrain is the fact that this is all-wheel drive. It has Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, which personally I believe is some of the best in the game. So let's talk about the interior. We have a lot to talk about because this is a very nice spec of the Outback. Well, in front of me I have 2 physical gauges. On the left is my tachometer with coolant in the center, and on the right is my speedometer with fuel down below. In the center I do get a little screen. I can switch it to my compass, miles per hour and digits, time I've been driving the vehicle, distance till empty, things like that. As well as I do have my radar cruise control in the center. On the steering wheel, tons and tons of buttons. First of all, it does have paddle shifters, but on the left, I have volume control, next, back, skip, phone options, source, and of course, down to the bottom left, the controls for that center screen and the gauges I just talked about. On the right, radar cruise control settings and heated steering wheel settings. Very, very nice there. To the left of me, I do have a bunch of buttons for the tailgate. I can set a tailgate memory, so if I have a low-hanging garage or a bike rack on the back, which, let's be honest, this is an Outback, you're going to be using it for that. It's a very nice feature to have. You can remember a certain height, and you won't ding your bike rack or roof. I do have traction control off, lane keep assist off, blind spot monitoring off, and pre-collision warning off. On the door, I do have 2 different memory seat settings, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. The door card is finished in a very nice brown leather, as well as there are wood accents on the dash as well as on the doors. I love this. I think this feels really, really classy, and I'll talk about that after we talk about the interior and exterior. In the center, I do have 2 climate control vents, a nice touchscreen radio. It's integrated well. I like the dials. They actually have good feedback. Oh, the truck ahead of me just moved, and it just told me that the vehicle ahead of me moved. I like that. So if you're texting at a stoplight, which you shouldn't be doing, it'll actually tell you. That's great. That is really, really cool. I like the radio. The buttons are kind of weird. They look like buttons, but they don't feel like buttons. They're like ever so slightly indented. But I do like it overall. I think it's a really well done radio. It's responsive and it's really clear as well. Then I do have my climate controls. Nothing too crazy here. I do have dual zone, which is nice. I have auto climate, things like that. Then I get a big cubby hole, literally just for storage. And we have the shifter. Shifter's cool, but I don't know why you can plus minus on a CVT, because gears don't really exist, so you're not really plus or minusing actual things. You're just plus and minusing numbers in a computer. You can shift an Excel spreadsheet the same way you can shift a CVT, but whatever. I do have a power parking brake, X mode, and hill ascent. So hill ascent will pretty much keep the car in a lower gear for when you are going up a hill. You'll get more torque and better acceleration. And X mode is for off-road driving, and that incorporates downhill descent control into it. So it's basically cruise control for going downhill. You can set a certain speed, so when your car is going downhill, it won't pass a certain speed, because when you're going down a hill, you build momentum usually, and if you're trying to avoid trees or ruts or things like that, you have better things to worry about. The seats are nice brown leather. They are perforated, and they are very, very comfortable. They are heated as well. I forgot to mention that with the climate controls. They are heated, which is very, very nice. Like I said, memory, power, all of that jazz. Speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so we'll do a back seat review as well as a cargo space review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2017 Subaru Outback. The wood grain and the leather carry-on back here, the stitched brown leather, I absolutely love. I think it overall looks great. I do have heated seats, 2 different levels of heated seats for the back row as well. Both back seats do get that, which is a huge draw. Not a lot of cars have that. I do have this nice center console, 2 cup holders that folds up nice and thin. And overall, it's just a really nice experience back here. Like I said, the wood grain and leather, and I have seat back pockets. And overall, it's nice. I have decent headroom, well, good headroom actually. I'd say probably about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, and I'm 5'11", and legroom is great. I'm not even touching the front seat. So overall, the back seat is great. Now we will look at the hatch. I apologize if it's windy. It's been super windy today. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the audio too bad, but we'll see. So around the back, we do have these nice floor mats. It says touring on them. These nice sort of brown stitched. I like that a lot. Do have a nice privacy cover, speaker back here, but other than that, not too many amenities. I would like oh wait, we do have a 12-volt outlet. All right, problem solved. That's really all I would ask for, is a 12-volt outlet. Decent amount of space, not too bad, not too shabby. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I really do like the look of this. I think it's pretty modern, it's sporty looking, and I love wagons. I just love wagons. I mean, it's in my blood for some reason. I think it overall looks like a Subaru. It is a Subaru, it's great. And I like the color. It's white, but it's sort of an off-white. I don't know my colors too well, but now let's talk about why I love this thing, because I really do genuinely love this thing. First of all is that flat 6. I mean, you have the torque, you have the power to do anything you want to do in a Subaru. Even the smaller engine Subarus are very capable, but this is great. This is the flat 6. This is the big chungus of engines. I love that. The second reason I love this, and arguably the more important reason, is how nice and luxurious it is in here. Wood accents, brown stitched leather, great touchscreen, heated memory seats. Nothing in here feels cheap or misplaced. And the reason I bring that up, and the reason why that's so important to me, is the fact that the same could not be said about Subarus a decade ago, or 2 decades ago. Let's just take a snapshot of 2000 Subaru. Luxury was probably one of the last things on their mind. They were trying to make a name for themselves here in the US. They appealed to outdoors people, but they were outdoorsy cars. Outdoorsy cars, I mean like a Jeep. You take the doors off, it's rugged. You could spray the inside out with a hose. That was sort of the vibe that they were going for. Lightweight, cheap materials. A lot of Subaru seats from back in the day looked like the floor of a Brunswick zone. They were cheap, light cars. They were fun cars, don't get me wrong, and they were good cars, but they were cheap. Even if you look at the halo car Subaru Impreza STI from the 2000s, you have a great turbo engine, it makes great noises, but in terms of interior quality, is it a Subaru or is it a Hertz rental car? I don't know. I don't get that feeling in here. This feels luxurious. If you slapped a Lexus badge on this or an Acura badge, I would say okay, and I would believe you. I would, because this is just such a nice interior. And people fall in love with their Subarus when they buy a Subaru. Subarus are a blood in, blood out cult, and I understand why. They make great cars. Do they get good gas mileage? No. And I'm not a big fan of the CVT. But besides that, man, a Subaru is a Subaru. And now here in 2020, that's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their used Subaru Outback 3.6R. This is one of their used cars. They have tons of used cars on the lot. If Subarus are not your thing, if Toyotas are not your thing, still give their website a look if you're looking for a car. They have tons and tons of manufacturers. This just happens to be one of them. They have a great selection, great staff, and they are taking appointments right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.